Hey up, welcome back. Now, as you know, I have this here newly refitted man cave. It's an overused term, that, isn't it? Man cave. It's a little bit of a tired cliche these days, but place of retreat for all things motorcycles. And this here place, let me tell you, is gonna help the long, boring, dark winter months pass by that bit more quickly, because I'll be in here with a bottle of that there beer and tinkering, mucking about, cleaning, and generally preoccupying myself with everything and anything to do with my 4 motorcycles. So it seemed like an appropriate opportunity, really, for those of you that might be new to the channel, to show you what my 4 bikes are, why I have what I have, what I like about riding them, and what, shall we say, pluses and minuses can be attributed to each and every one of them. Because, of course, as we all know, the perfect bike does not exist. Well, not yet, at any rate. So, here's an opportunity for us to have a look round my 4 bikes. 3 Indian bikes and 1 Italian bike, and not a British bike to be seen, would you believe? There's a very good reason for that. Too expensive. But we'll come on to that, because I think my 4 bikes here are fantastic and they tick every box that I need ticking, both for my personal and individual enjoyment, but also for the benefit and continued growth of this here channel. So yeah, not a lot in terms of capital outlay for 4 motorcycles here. I tell you what, for what all of these bikes cost brand new, throw that all together, and still nowhere near enough for a brand new BMW GS. So and there's no shortage of them about, is there? So yeah, I'd rather have 4 bikes like this than 1 BMW GS or similar any day of the week, let me tell you. So yeah, for the odd 1 or 2 people who said, "My bloody hell, Wheelie, you're not short of a bob or two, you're doing really well," I might have 4 motorcycles, but chuck them all together and you ain't got a BMW GS. So that's about the scale of things. In fact, if you take their current value, given that the Moto Guzzi is about 18-month-old, the BSA about 6 months old, Norman the Classic 350 about a year old, and of course my very, very recently acquired Royal Enfield Classic 650, which I'll show you in a minute. But you throw all them together and you don't even get to a new Triumph Bonneville T120. One Triumph Bonneville rather, T120. And yeah, put all these 4 bikes together and I'd still be scratching around for a few more £100, if not £1,000. So there we go. So right, without further ado, let me take you around the 4 bikes. They will all feature by and large in equal measure on the channel, particularly at this time of year. Come the winter months when the salt goes down, etc, etc, I suspect that certainly the Classic 650, because there is so much of it to have to clean, will not be venturing out during those months. And probably not the BSA as well. I'd be slightly more relaxed about taking the Guzzi out in some of the winter months, but probably not when the salt's down. But of course the Guzzi has a shaft drive, so there's quite a bit less onerous cleaning involved in that bike. But if ever I do ride a bike in winter, I don't know about you, but if ever I take a bike out in winter, regardless of whether the salt has gone down or not, it gets thoroughly washed off and dried at the end of the day completely. Gets a blow dry with I use a pet dryer, but it's every bit as good as a dedicated motorcycle dryer. So yeah, that's the sketch. So little Norman here, the Classic 350, which again I'll show you in a minute. He'll be taking me through the majority of the winter months, I suspect. Whether or not I end up getting a winter hack of some description, which is distinctly possible, remains to be seen, because actually there is just about room in here for a fifth bike, provided of course it wasn't too humongous in size. So that's a possibility towards the end of the year, because the only other thing I'm going to have in here really, apart from the 4 bikes, is a compressor over there. All the rest of the kit, tools and power tools and, you know, bits and bats and what have you, cleaning materials, all the rest of it, I'll either be going in the utility annex or in my little workshop, which is next door to this garage. So yeah, no, this here new refitted garage is not going to end up cluttered. A couple of shelves maybe for my helmets, gloves and buffs, and that will probably be about it. Maybe a couple more pictures and maybe another neon sign. Alright, let's have a look at these here bikes then. Right then, so my little Royal Enfield Classic 350. Known to me as Norman. Don't ask me why, he just looks like a Norman. And I've got quite an enduring love affair with this bike. I first got my Classic 350, the Halcyon green one. That would have been in, let me see, what was the plate? So that would have been 2023, I think that was. And yeah, loved the bike, and it just ended up going with the Interceptor as part exchange against the Super Meteor, and not one of my more clever moves, that I have to say, because within a couple of weeks, no more than that, of parting company with the Classic 350, I was pining for another one, and I eventually bit the bullet. Decided that the big, beautiful, mint Honda ST1300 Pan-European at the time that I had to go, and the Classic 350 here had to come back onto the fleet. That Pan-European was getting far too heavy for me. 330 kilograms, those bikes. Yeah, a third of a ton. And I might be 6'1", but I'm 62, not 26. It was just getting a bit much. Okay, so yeah, so I ended up swapping the Pan-European for little Norman here, the Classic 350. And I'll show you what I've done to this bike, and I'll tell you a bit more about why I love it so much. Right, so then, Norman, the Classic 350. This in a colour scheme that's no longer available. It's called Halcyon Grey, but it is in fact a sort of powder blue colour. It's definitely more blue than ever it is grey, that's for sure. But an absolutely period faithful colour, this. A lot of cars and bikes were knocked out in this sort of pastel shade back in the 50s, 60s and early 70s to a certain extent. So to that extent, yeah, it's a very, very faithful period colour. But I just think in terms of the overall design, that when Royal Enfield came up with this concept, whenever that was, they absolutely hit the nail on the head. The British design team clearly put a lot of thought into putting this bike together during the design phase, and have been absolutely faithful to the legacy of the Royal Enfield name and the period in which this bike is actually set. So we're talking 50s, 60s, very early 70s. The beauty of this bike, as with the Classic 650, is that all the major body components are metal, not plastic. So the mudguards there are plastic, the headlight cowl, the fork shrouds, the tank, the side panels, those side panels, the rear mudguard, all metal, which means that for a little 350cc bike, This is quite a heavy machine, coming in at just over 200 kilograms. And it only has 20 brake horsepower. Now, if you're thinking of getting the Classic 650, what I would say is you need to persevere. There can be a bit of a sod to run in, particularly if you live in a hilly area. But if you persevere, I would say at 1,000 miles in, you're definitely going to notice a big difference. And at 2,000 miles in, this bike has something like 2,300 miles now. At 2,000 miles in, the bike opens up fully. And it's a really rewarding riding experience. Now, you're not going to win any drag races on a 20 brake horsepower single cylinder air-cooled bike. No siree, you're not. But the thing about this bike, and I've said it on numerous occasions in the past, is that you have to set your expectations at a realistic level. If your notion of riding a modern classic motorcycle also includes an element of high-spec performance, then your head's not really in the right place for this bike. You need to be looking at something a good bit more powerful. So you probably would then be talking either about Royal Enfield's 650 offerings, the BSA, which has got plenty of port, the Goldstar, or you're into Triumph territory and spending a lot more of your hard-earned pounds and or dollars. But yeah, so you have to have your expectations set at a realistic level, and provided you do that, the reward is just the gift that keeps on giving with this bike. Taking this bike on a beautiful sunny day like today, out into the English countryside, down the country lanes, just bimbling along without a care in the world and enjoying the landscape as you go by. That's what this bike is all about. It's far more than some of its individual parts, and it's a story. Riding this bike, particularly in the English countryside, is part of a much bigger story, a bigger narrative, and I can't begin to put into words, and never have been able to for that matter, why it makes me feel the way that it makes me feel, and judging by a lot of the comments, the way that it makes a lot of people out there that own and ride these bikes feel as well. Okay, so what have I done with this bike? Not a great deal. I've put some good quality GV crash bars on. It's the first thing I do with any bike when I buy it, is to put crash protection on. I got the touring seat. I have got the pillion seat as well, but what I've actually done is the subframe to which the pillion pad is attached. I've actually used that to mount my top box to GV top box there. I don't carry a pillion, and so I don't need a pillion seat at the back, but I do carry a lot of camera gear around with me, so hence panniers and the top box, very useful indeed. Now I suppose what I should mention is the reason this configuration came about is because I had an auxiliary luggage rack on the back with that GV top box on, and my fault entirely, way above the stated maximum carrying capacity of that rack, and eventually it failed, it snapped. So bolting that GV via the universal mono key plate to the actual subframe that holds the pillion seat is a pretty cute solution to my way of thinking. And thank you to Tiger Ness's channel. If you've ever seen it, he's got a classic 350. That's what he did. That's where I got the idea from. Cracking idea. It'd have to be a pretty big, heavy top box, wouldn't it? Hey, to make the subframe fail there, because it's meant to carry a pillion. Okay, so yeah, that's what I've done. A couple of electrical bits and bats here. Stuff that I've been sent from a company called Chiggy. So I've got a wireless phone charger stroke holder there, very, very effective. If you go through the link in the description below, there's a link to Chiggy gear there, top quality. That's wired into something called a Heeltech Thunderbox, which is a little bit of electronic kit wired into the battery there, which means that none of the accessories come on until the engine is actually running and the output voltage is stabilised. Very, very good power saving device, that Heeltech Thunderbox. I've got a vibration sensitive tyre pressure monitoring system here. So it comes on when it detects vibration, stays on while you're riding, and there it gives a lovely clear readout of tyre pressures front and rear. I think that probably is a valuable bit of kit. I have a Garmin Zumo, that's in the top box there, which I can attach for navigation if I need it. And yes, before anybody starts, I do know it spoils the vintage lines of the bike, but it has practical use. I upgraded the brake and clutch levers to these adjustable CNC levers here from, I think they were either Tech or Hitchcock's, I'm not so sure, one or the other. Again, a massive amount of kit available at Hitchcock's, particularly for Royal Enfields, so there's a link in the description below to Hitchcock's. They are absolutely superb when it comes to these bikes, that's for sure. Okay, what else to say about little Norman here? Not a lot really. I think that's just about everything, apart from, of course, I put this auxiliary light there, single auxiliary light on the right hand crash bar there, which gives me a bit more visibility. Achilles heel of this bike, the rear spokes love to get dirty and a bit sort of patinaed, and mine are due for a clean. So yeah, rear spokes are a bit of a thing. Not bad at the front, if you keep up to it, not bad at the front, but inevitably the back wheel throws up a lot of muck and oil fling from the chain, and it tends to get all over the spokes, and they can be the very devil to clean. But there we go. Other than that, I like to keep the engine casings nice and polished up. They're not mirror finish, but they're not dull, they're just right. And yeah, so that's the classic 350 Norman. What a cracking bike. Right, so let's come on to my beautiful Moto Guzzi V7 Stone Special here. And I've had this bike now for about 18 months. It's on a 73 plate. Special edition, as the name implies. So unlike the other V7 Stones, it's got a dedicated performance Arrow exhaust system on it as standard, and comes with a different paint scheme, which is a sort of gloss black rather than a matte black, with sort of red and grey trim, and comes as standard with the bar end mirrors. So yeah, why this bike then? Well, I've always hankered, in all the time that I've been motorcycling, which is a good 40 years, I've always had a soft spot for Moto Guzzis wherever I've seen them. I think it's the character of that, I'm going to call it a transverse V-twin. I know a lot of people say it's inline and a lot of people say it's transverse, and I can't be bothered getting into that argument, so I'm just going to call it a transverse V-twin engine, because the cylinders stick out the side to keep your knees warm. But yeah, I think it's that aesthetic element that has always attracted me to them, plus the intrinsic rock and roll qualities of an engine that dates back to the 50s, early 60s, pushrod V-twin engine. So yeah, that's initially what appealed to me, but when this bike first came out, I saw it and it just had a look and a poise that were just a little bit different to the other modern classics available at the time, and indeed available to this day. And it speaks to individuality and personality to this bike, and that's what made me somewhat spontaneously go for it. But I'm glad I did. It's been a very rewarding ride. So let's take a look at this bike and I'll show you the bits and bats that I've put on. Right then, so first things first, the most obvious thing that I put on this bike is a set of GB panniers at the rear. Now, what you need to know if you're proposing doing something similar on the same bike is that the GB panniers for the new V7 850s fit all of those bikes except this one, the Stone Special Edition. The reason being that the bike comes with the Arrow exhaust system swept up, and if I show you here, those are the Arrow exhausts that come as standard with this model, but when you buy it, they come upswept, so you can't get the third mounting point on those pannier frames to match up, because the rear foot pegs are in a slightly different position. Now, I've managed a workaround with this by chopping a bit off the frames and just lowering the exhaust by 1 inch. There's enough play, more than enough play, between the exhaust pipe and the silencers to allow it to drop by 1 inch. In fact, when you take the hangers off, the exhaust drop of their own accord by about 1 inch, but the pipes themselves don't budge at all. So that's the way I've gone around it. I've just made an extra little bracket to drop the exhaust down by 1 inch, which allows for the panniers to clear the exhaust by a good inch or so there, and they've been absolutely fine. Again, I carry a lot of kit about, so it's important that I've got some luggage of some description. Yeah, the extra you get with the Stone Special over the others is you get those red coils at the back on the rear shocks. You get the V7 Stone Special badging, you get the bar end mirrors, and you get the trick colour scheme as well. So yeah, so I put panniers on. I've also put one of these on, which is the Aoche TFT screens. These are absolutely brilliant. They give you Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, tyre pressure monitoring, video recording, front and rear, GPS information, you name it, telephony, texts, WhatsApp, whatever you can do on your phone. Providing the app is compatible, you can do on these here systems, and you can still get 22% off courtesy of me by following the link in the description below or in the pinned comments with code TBW22. 22% off these brilliant bits of kit. And you might have noticed that the real big hitters in the world of YouTube motorcycle vlogging are also promoting these products, and I don't think the likes of the Missenden Flyer and Richie Vida and Wheelie Good TV and one or two others would be endorsing these products if they didn't think they were really, really good. So yeah, heartily recommend them. Anyway, plug over. Hey, so I've got that system, and I've got front camera mounted here, rear camera mounted there, constant video recording so that you're covered. I put on an auxiliary USB port because this bike doesn't come with a standard external USB adapter, so I've got one here. Other than that, I think it's fairly standard. Oh, the crash bars, obviously. Every bike I put crash bars on, and this has the GB engine bars on here, just for a bit of peace of mind. It's the most powerful bike I've got. It's the only one of my 4 bikes that is not A2 compliant. It comes in at 66 brake horsepower, so it's got plenty of shove, more than enough power here for me. More than I'm ever likely to use, I would suggest. But I just think that they are a beautiful looking bike, the V7s, and this special edition, I think, really is a bit of a design magnum opus almost for Moto Guzzi. It's an absolute stunner. A lot of people don't like the fact that it's got an LCD digital display there rather than analog, but I don't think it detracts from the bike at all. And a beautiful looking thing there, and glorious sound. Yeah, so yeah, still loving it to bits, that bike. Moto Guzzi V7 Stone Special. Right, so let's talk about this here, BSA Goldstar 650. I got this bike towards the back end of last year, probably I think we're around about October time that I got this bike, and I had, I think, a couple of rides on it One was a ride back from the dealership, and then I took it out for on the following day and made a quick video, and not ridden it for the rest of that year. And it wasn't until spring of this year, when the weather improved and the salt disappeared, that I took this bike out again. And again, this bike bought with heart rather than brain, and the reason was twofold. One, I think they look absolutely fantastic. Much earlier on, I test rode the legacy model of this bike with the chrome bits and bits. I test rode that out of Eddie's Motorcycles in Tadcaster. Loved the bike, said at the time it were better looking and a more engaging ride than the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. A comment which got me into a lot of trouble. Hey, but one I still stand by, absolutely. Of course, the looks is a matter of opinion. Of course it is. It's a subjective thing, isn't it, the looks? But I think this is a better looking bike than the Interceptor. But it is, matter of fact, a lot more tractable in the mid-range. It's got more grunt in the mid-range, more torque in the mid-range as this bike than the Interceptor, without a doubt. So yeah, the looks really absolutely appeal to me. Beautiful looking bike, and also the fact that, notwithstanding that they came to market at about £6,700 plus, they eventually came down, and I picked this bike up, would you believe, for £4,500. This in the Highland green colour, which I think is the best colour. This is a lot of bike for £4,500, let me tell you. Anyway, let me show you what bits and bats I've done to this bike, and for that matter, what bits and bats I've undone. Right then, yeah, BSA Goldstar 650. What a beautiful looking thing. And yeah, not done a massive amount to this bike really. I've not stuck luggage on it. I'm not minded to at the moment. When I'm out on this bike, I have a little carry bag. I've also got on order, I'm waiting for a gold top magnetic tank bag. Gold top, absolute top quality gear, beautiful stuff. Hey, but I've had to buy it. There's no way I'll get free gear off Gold Top, not in a million years. I think old Freddie Dobbs is getting it all. Anyway, hey, good luck, Freddie. So yeah, I'm just waiting for that. And the beauty of these modern classic motorcycles is they all tend to have metal tanks rather than plastic tank body mouldings, covers. So yeah, but other than that, I've no intention really of putting panniers on. Okay, so yeah, this Highland green, and look at that, look at this for £4,500. Single cylinder, 45 brake horsepower, Rotax engine. It is liquid cool, which a lot of people have an issue with because of that radiator, but without the liquid cooling and without that radiator being there, this bike would not have come to market. So I say well done BSA for taking that leap of faith. Cracking bike. Love mine a bit. Again, first accessory I put on, dresser bars, engine bars, just for a peace of mind for that inevitable low speed or stationary drop in the driveway. And yeah, over and above that, I mean, the sort of stuff I've put on is the stuff that I've shown you on the Moto Guzzi, basically. I've got here the Chigi TFT system, but it does exactly the same thing as the Aochi one on the other bikes. Video recording front and rear, tyre pressure monitoring, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. The only difference with these Chigi units is, hey, they're a good bit more expensive, but they come with a remote control unit that you can have on the handlebar there. And they also give you blind spot warnings from the rear camera. And they also have a dedicated GPS module under the seat, so there is independent GPS with these systems, whereas the Aochis at the moment work from your phone's GPS. That's the difference. So yeah, got that, and that's about it really in terms of accessories on this bike. And not a huge number of plans to put much more on, to be honest with you. But yeah, I love it to bits. What this gives you, it gives you all the character of the Royal Enfield Classic 350, but it gives you more than enough power to confidently execute, for example, overtakes, particularly if you're going uphill. If you're going to execute an overtake going uphill on a classic 350, you really do have to think long and hard and plan effectively what you're going to do and when. But this has more than enough power on tap to be able to get you out of just about any situation. And what a beautiful looking thing. I mean, there were early issues around the quality of the chrome finish on the tank, but mine is absolutely mint. There's no ripples, no flaws, no marks. Absolutely spot on. No issues whatsoever with the finish on this bike. I've got the additional BSA badges from More Speed Racing, just to give it a little bit of extra pop. And yeah, the one accessory I put on and then took off was a decap pipe. Now the reason I took the decap pipe off having fitted it was because the decap pipes that you can get by and large are not compatible with the engine dresser bars, so it's one or the other, not both. And so for that reason I took the decap pipe off, and I've still got it. Hitchcock's decap pipe for a BSA Goldstar. If you want one, drop me an email. I can let you have one at half price, and it's never been used. Went on the bike, turned the ignition on, ran the engine for about 30 seconds, turned it off, realised that the fitting wasn't compatible, took it off. So yeah, not used really. So yeah, so it's completely stock from that point of view. Yeah, beautiful bike, and again, what a cracking, faithful representation of the British motorcycling legacy. Aye, now, last and by no means least, this here, my fantastic, brand new, 3 weeks old I think now, Royal Enfield Classic 650. I think spent many more years in anticipation than actual production than a lot of bikes. This bike was being talked about breaking cover several years ago, 3 or 4 to my certain knowledge, and only really came along within the last 6 months or so, back end of last year. So this is mine in the black and chrome finish. The other 2 colours available in this country are the teal and the Vallon red. This will be the top of the range, basically £7 on the road these, but what a lot you're getting for your £7,000. Absolutely love this bike. It's the most comfortable bike I have out of the 4 to ride, for sure. So yeah, let's just take a closer look at this here automotive work of art. Right, yeah, there she is, my Royal Enfield Classic 650 in black and chrome. And this bike, unlike, for example, the Interceptors, comes with the engine casings already polished to a degree. So it doesn't take that much elbow grease, frankly, to get a mirror finish on these here engine cases. It's the same on the other side. And in terms of accessories, this is the bike which I am least inclined to accessorise. So obviously, engine bars, crash bars, a must for me. Originally, and I think even at the moment, that Royal Enfield don't list any crash bars for this bike. But as you can see, they are genuine Royal Enfield engine bars there. And that is because those are the bars for the Super Meteor and the Shotgun. And those 2 bikes basically share the same frame, certainly up front there, as this bike, the Classic 650, so they fit. So if you want a pair of genuine Royal Enfield engine bars for your Royal Enfield Classic 650, don't be put off by the fact that Royal Enfield don't list them as being available, and that therefore your Royal Enfield dealership may state that they are not available. If you go to Hitchcock's, you can get them there bars, top quality in black or polished steel, as you can see there. So yeah, crash bars definitely available for this bike. So I fitted them, and that'll be it, I think, basically. The only other thing will be the gold top tank bag when it comes, magnetic tank bag. The beauty of the chrome model is you're getting the, as the name implies, you're getting the chrome mud guards rather than the plastic coated, sorry, the painted mud guards. The mud guards are metal on all the models, and that probably accounts for a lot of the 243 kilograms of weight of this bike. So not a light bike, and like the Super Meteor and the Shotgun, the same sort of weight, would you believe, as a BMW GS. Yeah, that sort of weight in a modern classic, but it sits fairly low. The bike's very, very stable indeed, and I can manage to manoeuvre this bike around without too much difficulty at all, notwithstanding that what, quarter of a ton weight. But what impresses me most of all about this bike of all the Royal Enfields is that it is definitely now at the pinnacle of the fit and finish of the evolving Royal Enfield range. So you've got lovely touches like this CNC'd logoed handlebar clamp boss, top quality, the metal chromed switchgear housing that you can see. They now come as standard with adjustable brake and clutch levers, top quality mirrors, lovely quality filler cap, looks good and feels top quality as well. Beautiful fit and finish with the paint there, twin chrome exhausts, and of course now that tried and tested, pretty much bomb-proof 650cc air and oil cooled parallel twin engine. Very, very neutral and comfortable riding position, and it's just this bike oozes quality, and I can't see anything currently available from Triumph which you could look at and say, yeah, I can see the extra £3,000–4,000 there definitely in terms of quality. That argument can't be used anymore betwixt bikes like this and say the Bonneville 900. Absolutely superb, can't fault it. Tripper navigation as standard, and it does work with the Royal Enfield app, and just a beautiful, beautiful bike. I could sit and look at that all day long. Royal Enfield Classic 650. Right then, that's it for today. A bit of an extra video. Just thought I would take this opportunity now the garage has been completely insulated and refitted to show you the 4 bikes that I run on this channel. Basically what this channel is about is, number one, riding one of these 4 bikes out and about in the fantastic English countryside, particularly around Yorkshire, Cumbria, parts of Lancashire, the High Peak, places like that. But mainly my beloved home county of Yorkshire, of course, both the Yorkshire Dales and the North York Moors. So that's the core of this channel. I also do bike reviews out of Appleyards. The next one should be the Aprillia Touareg, so stay tuned for that. And other than that, I just occasionally drop in with 1 or 2 little product reviews and promotional opportunities, let's put it that way. Hey! So that can save a bob or two by buying stuff through this here channel as and when it becomes available. So that's all this was about today. I love these 4 bikes. They're a very eclectic mix to my mind, and they will feature in equal measure as we go through the motorcycling season of 2025. Okay, if you do like what I do on this channel, please would you subscribe to the channel. I'm going through a bit of a flat spot again at the moment where subscribers are dropping off and not basically being replenished by new subscribers. It happens to everybody from time to time, but please If you haven't already subscribed and you like watching the channel, please would you consider subscribing, because it makes an absolutely massive difference to me. A massive difference to me. And that's all I would ask, because all my content is free to view now and at any time. So please, yeah, if you're not subscribed, please click that subscribe. It's free. Free now, free forever. Alright, thanks for watching. So until the next time, and in the meantime, ride safe, be kind, and I'll see you.